Today I will discuss about collection of data. This class will be very useful for class 11 students from CBSE board. Statistics for Economics chapter 2 collection of data. The topics that will be covered here are 1 introduction, 2 what are the sources of data, 3 how do we collect the data, 4 census and sample survey, 5 sampling and non-sampling errors, 6 census of India and NSSO, and 7 conclusion. I will discuss all the topic one by one. Introduction. In the introduction, I am going to tell you about what we are going to read in this chapter. Number 1, we are going to know what is data collection and why should we collect data. Another question arises from here is that how should we collect data? So number 1, what is data collection? Why should we collect data? And how should we collect data? Another question is that the sources of data, that is from where we can collect the data. Data is Data is the collection of facts that may give us information about quality or quantity of something. Now, let me give you an example. Say, we want to know the total quantity of food grains produced in a particular area. So, say in that locality, 4 farmers are there, A, B, C, and D. We asked farmer A how much he has produced. So, according to him, 100 units has been produced by farmer A. So this 100 units is the data we collected from farmer A. Farmer B produces 113 units, C produces 150 units, and D produces 97 units. All these are data we collected directly from the farmers. Farmer A 100 units, B 113 units, C 150 units, and D 97 units. Total 460 units. That means 460 units is the total quantity of the food grains produced in that particular area. Now let's move to the second topic, that is what are the sources of data. That means from where we have collected the data. Number 1, primary data. Primary data is collected directly from the field. That is, getting the data directly from the subjects we are interested in. The example I just have used in this video is the example of primary data. Our concern was the farmers. How much farmers have been produced. So, it is asked directly from the farmers. So, it is primary data and I have collected that data. So, I own the data. So, it is a primary data collected by myself directly from the field. Number 2, secondary data. Secondary data is the data collected by someone else. It is used by me, but it is collected by someone else. For example, if I would borrow the data about the total production of food grains of that particular area from someone else instead of collecting it myself, then it would be secondary data to me. So secondary data is actually used by me but collected by someone else. You will know actually we can get such data from NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization. We will read about it later. But for now, let's move to the third question. How do we collect the data? Let's look back to the example I used. In the example, how I collected the data? I asked question to the farmers. I asked question to the farmers that how much they have produced. So, asking question can be a way to collect data. Asking questions or gathering information from individuals is called survey. That is, collecting data is called nothing but the survey. Survey has two types, sample survey and population survey, that is called census. the later section of this video we will know about it. Now let's talk about questionnaire. Questionnaire means the set of questions. The questions that should be asked to the individuals should be pre-planned. The question should not be too long. The questions should be easy to understand and should not be ambiguous or should not have any difficult words. The questions should be arranged in an order that the person answering those questions should feel comfortable. The series of questions should move from general to specific. The questionnaire should start from general questions and proceed to more specific ones. If questionnaire is too long, then it will take so much time for serving a single person. So questionnaire should not be too long. That means there should not be so much questions in a set of questions. Second, questions should be easy to understand, because those we are asking questions are very ordinary persons. They may not be so educated enough. If we ask some difficult questions or a questions having any hard words, they will not understand it, and so the answers they will give will not be proper. Number 3, questions should be asked one after another. So many questions should not be asked together. Questions should be in an arranged way. Number 4, those questions should be general to specific. For example, if I ask a person about how much food grains he has produced, he may not answer this question because he might not be a farmer. So first question should be, what is the profession of that person, or what is the name of the person, etc. The questions can be closed ended or open ended. Closed ended questions may be two-way questions, that is, the answer either will be yes or no, or it can be multiple choice questions. For example, if we ask, are you married? Then the answer either will be yes or no. So it will be two-way question. But if we ask, what crop do you grow? Then the answers might be any one of these four options given here. So it will be a multiple choice question. Open-ended question does not provide any option. It allows for individualized answers or responses. For example, if I ask, what do you think about the cleanliness of your locality? Then the individual who is giving the answer will give the answer from his or her own perspective. So it will be an open-ended question. So data can be collected by asking questions, which in other words can be said as survey. But the question now arises is that how the survey is done. Survey is done in three ways: personal interview, mailing surveys, and telephone interviews. When the investigator or the researcher arrange for a face-to-face interview with the respondents, then it is called personal interview. Investigator means who is collecting the data, and respondent means who is giving the answer. Sometimes questionnaire is sent to the mailing address of the respondents. It allows the investigators to have access to the people in remote areas where telephone connection is not good as well. However, nowadays online surveys or the surveys through short messages is very popular, and telephone interview means asking questions over the telephone. There is a homework for you all. Now you know what is personal interview, mailing survey, and what is telephone interview. So using your common sense, note down few advantages and disadvantages of personal interview, mailing survey, and telephone interview. You can ask me in the comment section if you have any doubt. Pilot survey. Retesting of questionnaire on small group of individuals. Once questionnaire is ready, it is advisable to conduct a tryout with a small group of people, which is called pilot survey. For example, if you have decided to ask questions to 4,000 people, then you can make a pilot survey on 10 to 20 people for testing the questionnaire. It will give you an idea about the survey. It also can give you the idea if there is any shortcomings or drawbacks in the questions. It also will help you assessing the suitability of the questions, performance of the investigators or enumerators, and also the cost and time involved in the actual survey. Now, fourth topic, census and sample surveys. I already told you that survey has two types. One, census or complete enumeration, and two, sample survey. First, let me tell you about the population and sample. What is the population and what is the sample? Population is the entire group of the individuals about whom we want to collect information. But due to the size of the population, it is not always possible to survey the entire group of the individuals. So, we choose a smaller part of the population. The smaller part of the population is called sample. I hope you remember the example I used in the beginning of this video. So look back at that and suppose the number of farmers in that particular area is as much as 40,000. So asking questions from all those 40,000 is not possible. We can choose a smaller part out of those 40,000 farmers. For example, we can survey 400 farmers. So this 400 is the sample and the 40,000 is the population. If we make a survey over the entire group of individuals, that is the 40,000 farmers, then it will be complete enumeration or census. And if we survey only a smaller part of the population, or in our example, we make a survey over those 400 farmers, then it will be sample survey. We can say that the sample is the representation of the population. That is, the sample survey actually gives the information about the population. So, selecting an appropriate group of the individuals from the population as a sample is very important in sample survey. Otherwise, it will not be a good representative of the population. Every 10 years, census takes place in India. The literacy rate, sex ratio, number of population calculated all over the India. Last census took place in 2011. Next census was to be held in 2021, but due to COVID situation, it was postponed. I will provide a separate video on the advantages and disadvantages of the census and sample survey. Now, the question is that how do you do the sampling? There are two main types of sampling, random and non-random. When we choose individuals from the population at random, then it is called random sampling. In random sampling, no rule is being followed. In random sampling, everyone has an equal chance of being selected. It is like a lucky draw contest where winners are selected randomly out of the participants. In this case, out of the population, we randomly select a sample. First, we define the population, then we decide the size of the sample, and then choose the individual randomly. Now, to non-random sampling. In the case of non-random sampling, individuals from the population are chosen on the basis of the convenience and judgment of the investigators. So, all the individuals in the population don't have equal chances of being selected. In non-random sampling, individuals are mainly selected on the basis of judgment, purpose, convenience, or quota. For example, choosing only 7th standard students from the schools or choosing Bengali honors students from the colleges are some examples of non-random sampling. Now topic 5, Sampling and non-sampling errors. The errors which are occurred while collecting data are known as statistical error. Statistical errors are two types. One, sampling error, and two, non-sampling error. Sampling errors are statistical errors that arise when a sample does not represent the whole population. They are the difference between the real values of the population and the values derived by using sample from the population. These errors occur because we are not surveying the complete population but choosing some individuals as a sample and surveying those samples. So, increasing the sample size will reduce this type of error. Non-sampling error is a statistical error that does not occur due to the randomly selecting sample. The common types of non-sampling errors include sampling bias that occurs when the sampling plan is such that some members of the target population could not possibly be included in the sample. Non-response errors occurs when an interviewer or investigator is unable to contact a person listed in the sample or the person refuses to respond. Another error may occur if the interviewer record incorrect responses. It is the error in data acquisition. While data acquisition, the interviewer is making mistakes in measurement or recording wrong response. Sixth topic, Census of India and NSSO. There are some agencies both at national and state level in India to collect raw data, that is primary data, directly from the field. Common people can collect the data from those agencies as a secondary data. It can be used in research or for information. So some agencies are Census of India, National Sample Survey, Central Statistical Office, Labour Bureau, and many other. The Census of India provides the most complete and continuous demographic record of population. The census is being regularly conducted every 10 years since 1881. The first census after independence was conducted in 1951 and the recentmost census took place in 2011. Topic 7, Conclusion. What we learned from this chapter? Primary data and secondary data. Primary data, that is raw data, that also can be called first hand data, and secondary data, second hand data. Open ended questions, closed ended questions, preparing questionnaire, pilot survey, census and sample survey, random sampling, non-random sampling, sampling errors, non-sampling errors, agencies to collect data. These are some important topics that we learned from this chapter. I will suggest you to write down what you have learned from this video. I am giving you few questions. Prepare these questions at home. You can ask any questions in the comment section. I will try to answer all of your questions there. I will provide the answers of those questions provided in the NCERT book and will make another video and upload it in YouTube channel. I hope this video is useful to you. So take care. Thank you.